Welcome to the 7th video of this series where we're taking a look at the Ofgem price cap. In part 6 we looked at supplier failures and the cost of those exits to the market. In this video we'll take a look at the price cap and how the future outlook of the energy market prices impact the price setting of the price caps. We'll also take a look at a specific element of the upcoming April cap, the Q2 gas cost, and how it has moved and priced during the observation window. We'll also look back at our forecasts from August 2022, which caused widespread concern, but they were justified. And then we'll take a look at why inflation and the bank rate, impacted by energy costs in recent years, are now having another bite at us when pricing the cap. So why are the markets now so low, but the price cap hasn't fallen so fast? Well, this is simply the product of the price cap design and what it's intended to do. When first launched in 2019, the price cap was seasonally priced and announced each 6 months. With the prices rising quickly, Ofgem took the decision to change the methodology to quarterly pricing and announcements. What this meant was the price cap would be more closely reflective of the market and its movements than under the seasonal approach. The hope was that the market increase would be short-lived and a quick return to normal prices, meaning the customer wouldn't suffer for too long. However, the market prices just kept rising and have fallen more slowly, meaning the consumer was getting more regular updates and interaction with the market. Now, the price cap prices in advance. So in order to set the April cap, it's looking at the wholesale market each day in the 3 months prior to delivery, plus around a 6-week gap to give time to announce and give appropriate notice. That means that the April cap was being priced between mid-November through to mid-February. At that time, the market was on a decline, but the price cap will be picking up the cost at that time. We'll look at that in the next slide. However, this graph shows the gas delivery forward price for summer 2024 going back as early as 2022. Now you can see that in late 2022, the market valued the summer 2024 contract as high as £4.50 a therm. Now it's since come off, but even held above £2 until late 2022 and didn't get below £1 until just recently. So you can see why price cap forecasts were so pessimistic around that time. The outlook really was that bleak. Now, if we look at the gas market, as it is the easiest one to follow in relation to the price cap, the Q2 24 product, which is delivery for April, May and June 2024, it's fallen from around 123 pence a therm to around 62 pence a therm during that pricing window, and that's in the red box on the graph here. On average, it would give a price in the region of, say, 90 pence a therm. So that's around 50% higher than where the market is today. But the cost is reflective of what suppliers are expected to have paid to secure delivery for the cap customers in the delivery period, as in they would have had to buy a bit of the market each and every day during that curve. The actual calculation is a bit more complex than I've just described, as the rest of the year is also considered, so Q3, Q4 and Q1 25, in order to ascertain an annual cost of energy, but the principle is the same for each delivery period, and weightings are used to reflect the expected usage in each period, typically being winter heavy for domestic users. So at any given time, we're calculating the cost of energy for the 12 months starting in around 4 months' time. As the market moves up or down, it should be softened by this approach rather than having a quarterly price, as the variance between periods would be wild and potentially confusing and dangerous for consumers and suppliers to manage. Remember that the price cap is there as a protection tool. It's intended to ensure stability for the market, protect customers from unruly supplier behaviour and ensure a fair consumer price reflective of the expected costs suppliers face to deliver. Here's a few of our daily price cap forecasts back in 2022, when things were getting really hairy. You can see the forecasts were changing wildly in a short period of time, but reflecting the significant volatility in the wholesale markets. Forecasts were just that, a view of what if the price cap for that period was decided today? What would the price be? It would change each day in line with the movement of the market, sometimes up and sometimes down. In late 2022, the outlook for the energy market was extremely bleak, looking at forecasts of £5,000, £6,000, seemed unbelievable, but they were possible. Not for 1 minute has any energy trader believed that energy prices could reach and exceed and stay at £100 per megawatt for electricity or £1 a firm for gas. Yet we saw and held prices far in excess of those values. We hit hundreds of pounds per megawatt and several pounds per therm of gas. Truly unbelievable levels. So with that being realised and accepted, the price cap forecasts quickly became believable. The fact that in just the 10 days between these two forecasts at the top of this screen, the Q2 23 gas contract had moved by 40% from £4 to £5.60 per therm, cementing the view that this outlook was an entirely real possibility. Incidentally, that contract kept rising to the end of August, hitting £7.30 a therm. You can see the impact over time of inflation and the bank base rate, increasing in recent years on the back of attempting to manage the cost of living crisis, driven in part by the rising cost of energy. Again, with the lagging effect, whilst energy prices have started to retreat to more palatable levels, we're now feeling the delayed impact of inflation management in the price cap calculations. But this is just a product of its design. Remember that we've already had the advantage in a sense. Market prices rising were delayed in being passed to the consumer. Sadly, that is the way of the world here. We watch the market rise and wait for it to hit, but we must also watch the market fall and wait for the benefit. So that brings us to the end of part 7. Join us in part 8, where we look at the future forecasts for the price cap for the rest of 2024 as of now, and Europe's move away from Russian gas. See you shortly.